This is Margin Machine, where we follow the money behind AI. A contract review platform was billing law firms $180,000 a year. Then a tool that costs $29 a month started doing the same job in 40 seconds. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how one pricing decision made that collapse inevitable, and why blaming AI is the wrong explanation. The real killer was something much quieter. Welcome back to another autopsy. Let's set the scene. Contract review is not glamorous. But it is enormous. Before AI, mid-sized law firms and in-house legal teams were spending anywhere from $80,000 to over $200,000 a year on dedicated contract analysis platforms. Names like Kira Systems, Luminance, and Seal Software owned this space. They weren't cheap by accident. The sales cycle alone took months. Implementation took longer. And once a firm was locked in, switching cost was brutal. Think retraining staff, migrating data, renegotiating vendor agreements. These companies weren't selling software. They were selling inertia. And for a while, that worked. Kira raised over $650 million in a single acquisition. Seal got bought by DocuSign for $188 million. The market looked, by every traditional measure, completely untouchable. Enterprise contracts. Long renewals. High switching costs. The exact profile of a business that's supposed to be safe. But here's the part nobody mentions: safe from competition doesn't mean safe from obliteration. And that distinction is where this story actually begins. In 2023, a wave of AI-native contract tools started appearing. Not from VC-backed unicorns. From small teams, sometimes 2 or 3 people, building on top of large language model APIs. Tools like Spellbook, Robin AI, and a dozen others that most legal partners had never heard of. Spellbook launched with GPT-4 under the hood, embedded directly into Microsoft Word, and priced its entry tier at, you guessed it, under $50 a month per user. Now, if you saw our video on Adobe charging $600 a year while a $15 tool does the same job, you already know where this is going. The pattern is identical. A legacy vendor prices for enterprise procurement. An AI-native tool prices for the individual. And the individual starts using it quietly, without telling IT, without a purchase order, without a 6-month sales call. Reportedly, some firms saw associates adopting these tools on personal credit cards before any official evaluation happened. That's not a purchasing decision. That's a cultural shift. And cultural shifts don't show up in quarterly churn data until it's too late. Here's where everyone gets it wrong. People look at this story and say the incumbents lost because AI got good. That's not the cause. That's the weather. The cause was a specific strategic decision made around 2021 and 2022, when these platforms had every signal they needed. OpenAI's API was public. GPT-3 was already writing coherent legal summaries. The threat was visible. And what did the established players do? They doubled down on integrations. They built deeper hooks into enterprise workflows. They added more features to justify the enterprise price tag. They optimized for retention of existing customers instead of rebuilding for new ones. This is the classic innovator's dilemma, but with a twist. The AI-native tools weren't just cheaper. They were faster to deploy, required no implementation team, and updated themselves continuously as the underlying models improved. Every dollar the incumbents spent on enterprise features was a dollar not spent on model integration. Would you have taken that bet, keep the $180,000 customer or rebuild for the $29 market? Tell me in the comments. Because the answer is harder than it looks. Let's talk about what this actually cost. Kira Systems, acquired by Litera in 2021 for a reported sum that was never fully disclosed, but the deal valued it well below its fundraising trajectory. Seal Software, sold to DocuSign in 2020 for $188 million. DocuSign has since restructured heavily, laying off around 10% of its workforce in 2023. And pivoting its AI story entirely. Luminance pivoted toward AI prosecution, distancing itself from pure contract review. These aren't bankruptcies. This is something quieter and, honestly, more instructive. This is a category getting repriced in real time. The $180,000 annual contract didn't disappear overnight. It got cut to $60,000 when firms renegotiated. Then to $30,000 with a shorter term. Then the junior associate started running spellbook in the background and the renewal conversation never happened. The money didn't vanish. It redistributed. And that redistribution is the most important part of this whole story. So who caught the money when the incumbents dropped it? 3 categories. First, the AI native legal tools, Spellbook, Robin AI, Harvey. Harvey is the most aggressive case. Founded in 2022, reportedly valued at over $3 billion by 2025, backed by Sequoia and OpenAI's own fund. It went directly after Big Law, firms billing $1,000 an hour per partner, and priced itself as a premium AI layer, not a discount replacement. Smart. Second, the general-purpose AI tools. ChatGPT with a custom GPT, Claude with a long context window, these tools absorb the entry-level contract work that no dedicated platform could justify building for. The $29 per month category is partially just. ChatGPT Plus. Third, and this is the quiet winner, Microsoft. Copilot for Microsoft 365 is now embedded in Word, Outlook, and Teams. Law firms that already pay for Microsoft licenses are getting contract AI almost by default. The biggest beneficiary of legal tech's collapse might be the company that was never trying to win legal tech at all. And that's when it gets weird, because that same dynamic is playing out in at least 4 other B2B software categories right now. The pattern here is a template. Find a B2B software category with 4 traits: high annual contract value, long sales cycles, low switching once embedded, and a core function that is fundamentally information retrieval or document analysis. Contract review had all 4. But so does compliance monitoring. So does financial due diligence software. So does medical coding software, a market worth reportedly over $16 billion, still largely running on platforms that charge per seat enterprise licenses and require weeks of onboarding. The AI native tools are already at the door in every one of these categories. We follow the money here every week. Subscribe so you don't miss the next trail. The displacement isn't random. It follows the same signature every time, a specific pricing gap, a specific workflow that can be replicated with an API call, and an incumbent that is too committed to its existing customers to cannibalize itself. The question I haven't answered yet is this: Harvey is charging big law firms what some reports put at over $40 million a year in contracts, pricing that rivals the old incumbents entirely. So is Harvey actually disrupting legal tech, or is it just rebuilding the same expensive castle with an AI flag on top? If you want to know exactly how Harvey is pulling that off, and whether it ends the same way, click the video on your screen right now.